set of my mind racing. You are the reason. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. Today I need to get my onions planted out. I told a story in my garden tour that I had just purchased onion plants from Haas Tools. And so that is what I'm gonna plant out today. According to the paper, it came with the seed plants. The plants should be about 6 inches apart, and they should be about 2 feet apart in the rows. I'm clearly not gonna do 2 feet apart in the rows because I don't have that space, but I do think that I will have a decent harvest because these are in a raised bed. And so there's a good amount of nutrition in this bed, so I don't think that it would be a huge deal if I don't have the 2 feet in between. I think most of the times the space between rows is if you were planting in ground, you would have to be able to walk through the rows. This is what onion plants look like. You can grow onions from seed. You can grow onions from sets. Sets are the little onions where it's just like an onion bulb and it's supposed to get bigger, it swell. This is kind of the same thing. It's just onion plants. Onions don't need to be planted deep. I learned that last year when I successfully, for the first time, grew onions. I measured out the 6 inches of space, and I'm just gonna drop each one of these down into the hole. And I'm only gonna plant them where the bulb is covered, making sure the roots are down under there. And I am mulching these beds, and I've never had an issue with slugs with my onions, so I don't think I should run into a problem with that. If I do, of course I'll come back here and let y'all know. I'll be like, my plan was wrong. So it's about 2 inches in between each row. So you remember me telling you that I wasn't gonna plant in this bed? Well, I am. I'm gonna plant the rest of these onions in this bed, and I'm probably gonna pull that basil out today. Ooh, there's lots of worms in here. Nice. I can't get my stool over here because my bags are back here. Small garden space problems. Today, I need to go ahead and pull some of this Swiss chard. So I've learned with Swiss chard that the larger leaves don't do so well in the cold, but the smaller leaves do just fine. And we should have our first frost coming sometime this coming week. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of the larger Swiss chard leaves, and I'm gonna go in the house. Maybe we'll eat them tonight, maybe I'll freeze them. I'm not sure, I'll let you know. So the larger leaves of the Swiss chard, we're just gonna go ahead and pull them. They are beautiful. In my experience, the larger leaves wilt. The older, larger leaves wilt very easily in cold weather. So I'm not gonna wait for the frost to hit these. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them now. They're beautiful. Swiss chard is somewhat of a bitter tasting green. I don't cook them all the way down because I honestly don't like soggy greens. I prefer them to be sauteed so they still have a little bit of their texture. And so I actually do love Swiss chard. You can also use Swiss chard in salads. I read something said like you shouldn't eat too much of it raw. You can correct me in the comments. So I think you can see right here is the plant that all of these leaves came off of. So you don't want to pull all your leaves. And I probably could pull this one too, but I'll leave it. but you don't want to pull all your leaves or your whole plant if you're going to do cut and come again, because these leaves need to be here for sun and to get the energy to grow more leaves in the middle right here. And so I do quite a few plants as cut and come again. I use my collards as cut and come again. I use my kale as cut and come again. You can even do it with the outer cabbage leaves. You can still eat the outer cabbage leaves and leave a good amount of the head and some of the extra leaves so that the plant can continue to grow. But you can kind of eat off of fall vegetables all year long because they will grow in cold temperatures. If you live in a very cold climate, then you may have to cover, or in some climates, it just may not be something that you can do without a lot of effort. But if you live in a climate that is mild, yeah, these vegetables will feed you all fall long. So that's 2 plants right there. I am still waiting for my collards to get their first frost. I could go ahead and pick the kale if I wanted to. And I could go ahead and pick the collards if I wanted to. But I personally, forgot about the mic. Also, is that making it better? Like, does the sound better? I had completely forgot to use it. And my son said, have you used your mic yet? I was like, actually, I haven't. So in my last few videos, you'll see that I've had the mic on. Let me know if it's better. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying that I could pick any of these fall vegetables. I'm just not, because I want the collards for sure to go ahead and get their first frost, because they say that it is sweeter. So I'm going to move around the garden and pick the rest of the larger Swiss chard leaves, and then I'm going to either preserve them or we're going to eat them tonight. Go ahead and harvest these this mint, lemon balm, and feverfew, and I'm going to cut it all the way back, and then I'll show you what it looks like to cut it all the way back. Probably in spring it'll start growing back again, if not sooner than that, and I'll show you what it looks like for it to come right back. Herbs are very hardy plants. If you don't have any in your garden, plant you some. Feverfew, lots of it. If you have a long harvest day ahead of you and you are harvesting leafy green vegetables like kale or Swiss chard or collards, you can stick the stems of that plant into some water, and that will keep the plant hydrated until you get it in the house. Also, if you don't do this and it starts to wilt outside, just take it in the house and put it in some cold water and it will rehydrate. I'm also freeing up a basket for myself by doing this, keeping them hydrated and freeing up a basket. So this is the top of a cake pan. So if you just grab them out of here and stick the stems down in the water, and if a leaf goes in the water, that's fine too. It's all being rehydrated. And this way I can go back out into the garden and harvest all of this mint without worrying about these starting to wilt. And you can do this inside of the house too, in like a cup. If you don't have a huge harvest, you just have a few leaves, you can just put some water in a cup, and you can actually, they'll store like this for maybe a week or so. I've done it before, and I just put the cup in the refrigerator with the water in it and stuck the leaves down, the stems down in it, kind of like flowers if we're honest. And so that's a way to store them if you don't have time to preserve or something like that. You can do that too. So when I'm harvesting my mint, because I have so many different varieties, I harvest one of them. I tried like putting them all in the same basket and remembering where I put them. That did not work, and I had just mixed mint. So today, instead of doing that, I'm going to harvest one, take it in the house, harvest the next one, take it in the house, and then I'll get it all into the dehydrator some point today, hopefully. I could also just let it air dry. Oh God, this is the ginger mint. Give this to the chickens. It is not delicious. If you grow ginger mint, tell me what you do with it. I don't personally like the taste. Peppermint. So we have harvested all of the mint, the lemon balm. I cleaned out that chamomile pot. It had all kinds of weeds growing. By the way, my garlic is popping up. We didn't know if that's a good thing or not. But yeah, it is popping up already. I went ahead and mulched this bed with leaves, but we got garlic sprouts, y'all. We just planted those last week, I think. Look at these dahlias showing off for the last burst of the season. And that one I showed y'all the other day still looks beautiful too. Cold weather seems to be nice for them. They seem to like it. My broccoli really is not working with me this year, at least not these tall varieties. This one, even the side shoots seem to be bolting. I'm gonna go ahead and grab them because we still gonna eat them. This larger variety is just trying to bolt every time a head comes up. I'm gonna show you. So if you look at this, you can see, let me see, that it's trying to open. And you can see the yellow. The yellow is the flower and where the seed will come from. So you don't want that to open early because then your plant is gonna go to seed. So we got some tiny little broccoli heads. So we can have it for dinner. It still will taste fine. It's just that I don't want my plants to go to seed so early in the season. And I imagine they'll probably be pretty sweet. Like the stem and all will be pretty sweet because it's so small. So that was a large head off of the other one. And you can see yellow. You can see that it was trying to open. So good for me. It was only a few right now. The rest of them still look fine. The last thing I'm gonna harvest is some pretty flowers for the table. I'm gonna take some of these snapdragons. Snapdragons are one of those things that sprout from the side. So when you cut it, it just makes new shoots and then it throws up some more flowers. And so that should be beautiful. Just make sure you cut at a leaf node. I kind of cut these too short, but I'll find a cute vase that's short. And I've seen where they say if you cut them when they have like buds that aren't open, they last a little bit longer. But since they're in my backyard, it doesn't matter because I can come and get them whenever I want to. Anywho, I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to press like, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment in the comment box below. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in the garden almost every day. Bye.